All right. It is 8 o'clock on the dot, and we are live September 25th, 2022. OU Flag Guy here, and I'm joined tonight by Sean. As we're all here collectively for our yearly, whatever you want to call it, group therapy sessions, because yet again, we lay an egg and drop our first game of the season against a team that we probably should have beat. Even though that Kansas State is really good, we should have beat them. Sean, usually at this moment, I would pass it off to you, but for once, I have the soapbox that I want to hop on.
All right.
So, first off, I said this last night when I went. I want to let you know I am 0-3 going to Kansas State games.
Well,
I,
fuck you then.
I am even worse with the team. I am cursed with this, but I have yet to witness us beat Kansas State, and it killed me. But my soapbox is he asked me last night, how are you taking this so okay? I'm like, well, you get used to it. Like, first off, it's sports. You're gonna lose some. You have to accept that. Otherwise, don't watch sports. Don't watch anything competitive. But he had me thinking on it. We've got used to this as a fan base because it seems like yearly, since 15, 20 years now, we're going to drop one that we shouldn't drop to, and we go back to the same questions every single time. I guess I'm at the point where I'm not even apathetic anymore when we drop these type of games. It is what it is. It's tough. It is very tough to go undefeated. Everyone should realize that. But the way they lost last night makes me upset as a fan. And I guess I mentioned it today where I guess I'm upset where I get really tired of the administration asking for the fans to come out, give us all, and then every time it seems like whether it's stripe the stadium, there's the Sooner Lights, whether it's honor somebody, the team doesn't show up. And it gets frustrating. It gets frustrating as a fan. So that's my very minor soapbox, but I had to get that off.
All right. What you're saying we shouldn't celebrate a loss? I was told we should celebrate close losses. That's what I learned.
Like Nebraska.
No. A couple weeks ago, man. Just celebrate those close losses. No one should be happy about what happened last night. I mean, it's like, okay, you lose, and it's like no one is ever going to come on and rationally say, "Gosh darn it." I mean, the only reason you're happy if you lost is like if your program was in shambles and you came close to winning and you feel like you're getting better. Mm-hmm. Like those are the programs that do that. Like not at Oklahoma. So yeah, it sucks they lost, and I preseason predicted this was a game they would lose because I figured the college football gods have it out against us for K-State, but I also knew what they had coming back defensively. I knew Deuce Vaughn, which was a threat last night, but nowhere near close to the wheels of one Adrian Martinez. I didn't see that one.
You mean Heisman Adrian Martinez?
Absolutely. I mean, so
he gets it for all 1 week.
But yeah, the reactionary part of our fan base, which is like, I mean, there's a lot of stupid people in our fan base, and that applies to a lot
absolutely.
Of there's a lot that applies to any major college fan base, but boy, the really stupid people come out because they want to throw the baby out with the bathwater. And it's like the problem is for this program this year is that there's such everyone loves Brent. Everyone loves how he came back and he, we felt good about ourselves. And I think the problem was, and it's defensively, we looked very competent for 3 weeks, and they still did. They looked competent for 3 weeks. Didn't change that. But at the end of the day, Brent's system can be a little tough to learn. And if you go through a little adversity and you get something thrown at you you're not expecting, stuff like that can happen.
And they looked lost last night as a result.
Yeah. There was a little bit of an effort problem, and that's on Brent. He's got to fix that. They didn't quit or anything, but there was miscommunications, because supposedly there was a spy on that infamous play last night, but that's not the play that lost us the game. Like it's easy to point to that, and I was pissed off too. Like if you if you were watching me watch the game, then you saw me lose my shit. But at the same time, that's not why we lost. We couldn't get stops when it mattered. And
Chris Murray couldn't stop getting false starts.
We'll get to the offense in a second, but defensively, it was just the fact that guys, we weren't showing the physicality. We weren't tackling. We weren't doing the things. Like, everyone played like garbage on defense for the most part. Like, everyone you expected to have a big night, or it's just boom. Like, they got punched in the mouth and they were trying to get they're tucking their chin and getting their shit together like a boxer would. And they had their moments here and there where it looked like, okay, can we, but it just, every time it looked like we were going to get momentum back, we would lose it. And you go to the offensive side of the football, and look, the offense scored enough points to win the football game. I don't want to blame this completely on the offense, and I'm not saying they don't deserve some criticism, but the offensive line, too many pre-snap penalties. You can't have all those false starts. You can't have holding calls. I know people are mad at Dylan Gabriel and think he's the worst quarterback ever, and they want to bench him, but he is on my list of things that are an issue with OU football, it is so far down the list of things that are wrong with this program right now. So if you want to, everyone wants to bench Dylan Gabriel or say he's mid or he sucks. Like, guys, I hate to break the bad news. Like, you can name whatever quarterback on the depth chart you want. He's not losing his spot. It is not happening. Correct. So
and he's our guy, and you have to support.
Why isn't Nick Evers playing? He's a true freshman, dude. I don't care how good you may think he is or how athletic you think he is. He ain't starting. Like, if he's so good, why isn't he number 2 on the depth chart? I'll wait. Yeah. He's not. So, the transfer from Pitt is Davis Bevel's there. And then you got General Booty, who has a cool name, but again, we haven't had a reason to put him out there much yet. So y'all think some of you who think the quarterback's the problem, and look, Dylan missed some throws, and he's got to make those throws, because we've had all world quarterbacks for the past few years who've been able to make some pretty big throws and pretty big, oh my God, type of plays that save our bacon in these types of games. And we don't have that. But you know why he's not getting benched either? Dude's got 11 touchdowns, no picks, 1,100 yards passing, an 80 QBR, 170 plus passer rating. That's why he's not getting benched. So if someone else on the depth chart is better than that, by all means, but I don't think there is right now. The 5-star is coming next year, and even then he'll be a true freshman. And so we'll see what Jackson Arnold does down the road whenever that goes down. But
I want to add in
right now.
I told this to my buddy I went with the game with last night. What people are starting to realize, whether they like it or not, yes, Dylan's staying in. There is people need to let that go. Like, he is not getting benched barring an injury. But it's going to ruffle some feathers, I know, to say this, but he is great value Landry Jones. He is I don't think that's fair at all. I think it's perfectly fair, because
Landry Jones would have thrown 3 picks by now.
There's the difference, though. Landry could make those throws. Dylan can't. The flip side is Dylan can run.
What throws are we talking about right now? Because the Landry Jones. Because the Landry Jones
ones.
Okay, possibly, but I'm talking about Landry Jones back in 10 years ago. He had one. He threw to one side of the field. Where's Ryan Broyles? I'm throwing to Ryan Broyles. Ryan Broyles is like historically great wide receiver in Oklahoma. I don't know if we have a historically great wide receiver in Oklahoma. We have some good ones. We have a good one in Mims, but I'm not ready to say he's great. I'm not ready to throw shade at Dylan Gabriel saying he's great value anything right now. He's Dylan Gabriel. He's more athletic than Landry Jones. His worst crime is that he throws high on the foot. He throws passes high sometimes, and he misses some easy throws you would think he should be able to make to convert a third down. Other than that, I feel like with him, we're nitpicking because, again, we've had Heisman level quarterbacks at this school for the past few years. So I'm not going to crap on the dude. I'm going to give him a little bit of a pass right now because we were stripped of our quarterback room last year. One we were okay to see go, one we didn't want to see go, regardless of what anyone says. So he swooped in and we were able to swoop him up and save the day. Because if we don't have Dylan Gabriel right now, we're screwed quarterback wise. I don't care what anyone says. Jackson, you're right. We're screwed. So I'm not saying we're supposed to settle, because again, the 5-star is coming next year, and we'll be getting back on track hopefully in that department. But that's to be determined. That's to be continued down next season and beyond. And if you want to have the quarterback battle next year between him and Dylan Gabriel and Jackson Arnold, go right ahead. I'm totally fine with that. If you want to have, if he's an early enrollee for open competition, go for it. Let's have at it. But he's our dude right now. We got to ride or die with him.
Absolutely. And I want to make that clear. I absolutely know that, but I do see the things where it's the little things that do add up. He doesn't throw the ball away. We've discussed this last night. His throwing is inconsistent. He should be making some of these simple passes. He should be making in stride throws for who he is and where he is.
Well, no, the one that was bad was when he missed Drake on the out route. That was the one. Like, I mean, now he's also missing some guys that are wide open at times. He's not looking. He did a lot better job at times looking down the field. He's made some big throws downfield. Theo East, Marvin Mims. So, believe it or not, there is some improvement. It's starting to creep in there a little bit. So again, if we're on the laundry list of things wrong, he's like far down the list for me. Like the defense can't have a performance like that again. Like this is the time of year where it's like, okay, is this a one-time thing or is this become a perpetual issue? Because if it becomes a perpetual issue, then we're gonna have a problem this year.
I do want to add something in though with Dylan though. The other thing with it, I think it's inconsistent too with not just his throwing, but also I know everyone's saying he's scanning the field. I watched last night live. Mims and Theo Weiss were both breaking their secondary the entire time. He would never throw it to them.
Oh, I know. I know exactly what you're talking about. Like I've gone back and watched some stuff, and it's like they're like, but unfortunately, he is 5'11", and he has one of his. He's a little short. He's not like he's shorter than Baker. So we got that going for us, and he's had some throws tipped to the line of scrimmage. Sucks, but that's something that's something we got to overcome too. But best we got right now, folks. So what are we doing?
No, it is what it is. But there are so many times where Mims and Weiss were open, and he just didn't even look at it. Or if he's scanning, he doesn't see it at all. And as you said, it could be because he is short. I mean, I'm 5'8". Maybe that's the case. So. But I mean, you have to take Dylan. That's what it is. It is what it is. But he's not free from criticism. I do think he's got to practice his throws.
But again, I knew this was going to be a tough game because again, K-State returned. Like they got a decent defense. Got some players who can make some plays, and they game plan for Deuce Vaughn. You could tell they game plan for Deuce because they were not. Deuce got going a little bit and he got 100 yards, but it wasn't like the type of performance that you thought Deuce was. He didn't have like an all-purpose. Like the guy who did that was obviously Adrian Martinez, and it's like I can't believe that happened. But defensively, did Reggie Grimes play last night? He could have fooled me. Didn't hear much from him. Isaiah Coe made a bunch of plays at times. Damn, it is raining and pouring at Yankee Stadium right now. But you got that going on. See here, Redmond was here and there, but you got guys like Deshaun White or whatever, or Guebu. You guys are getting face masks, getting stupid penalties on the defensive side of the football. The only penalty I thought was BS was Justin Broyles on defensive pass interference. But again, I think that's another thing we got to look at. Justin Broyles is still out there.
Yeah.
And I like Justin Broyles. I think he's a good dude. I don't think he's a bad person or anything, but
he's fourth string though.
Well, no, it's not that he's fourth string. It's that this is a reminder that we're still in year one of Brent rebuilding this thing.
Right. And we talked about that.
And like, I don't know if the answer is just a simple Key needs to be out there more, or, obviously Billy Bowman is going to be out there obviously all the time, but it's just, I don't know what it is, but like, it's just, you look at that, it's like, this is going to take another year or two before you start seeing, because another thing that irritates me is like some people are trolls when they say this, obviously, but when I see OU fans actually really worry about recruiting, like in the here and now, every time we lose a game, we're going to lose a recruit. Oh God.
It's such a minuscule thing.
It is. Well, no, it's not a minuscule thing. It's just an overreactionary thing, because how many programs win the college football playoff national championship game every year? How many teams win it every year? How many teams? Tell me. Would you say one?
Yeah.
One. So
one who wins the championship, right?
Yeah. So one team gets the championship and wins it all. Just one team a year. This is college football. We used to have like 5 champions back in the 30s every year. So my point is, everybody loses except like one team for the most part. Maybe they drop a game, but you get one mulligan for your national champ for the most part. But like,
right.
So everybody loses. So top 10 recruiting classes are pretty fun, right? Or let's go even top 5. Those other 4, they don't win the national championship. Usually one is up there. Usually it's Alabama, or it's like Clemson or Ohio State or whomever, Georgia right now. So Alabama didn't win the national title last year. Are they? Like, now they've lost some recruiting battles, but guess what? They got the number 1 class right now on 24/7, and it's probably going to stay that way. So, and everyone's like, "Oh my God, we're going to lose on David Hicks." You guys don't know why David Hicks is even committing to OU in the first place. He's not that fickle. David, it's like guys commit to coaches because of relationships that they make with these coaches and these programs. And you know how I know this? Because Mickey Joseph is being reported to likely stay at Nebraska regardless of who the new coach is. Malachi Coleman, God bless him, is probably going to Nebraska regardless of how this season turns out. Because it's the relationship he has with Mickey Joseph. Joe John Finley is going to try his dangest. It's like icing on the cake to get this kid. But right now, the feeling is Malachi Coleman, right now, I wouldn't count on him. We don't need him. I would love to have him. But if Mickey Joseph is still at Nebraska, regardless of who the head coach is next year, he's probably going to Nebraska. He will probably waste his college career. He'll still probably be a high-level draft pick if he develops and does what he can do.
And I want to highlight what you just said, too. He wastes his college career. That's something everyone's not connecting to that. I'm going to be honest, and I'm
being facetious when I say wasting his career and everything, but you know what I mean when I say that. He's not going to be, he ain't winning shit at Nebraska. Let's be honest.
Correct. I want to add this in, though, because some recruits don't go to win a national championship. They go to the league. We've seen that.
Usually those two things can go hand in hand, though.
Correct. Oh, yeah, I know that.
The team that has the most pro players per prospects are probably going to be in the playoff or compete for a national title. So that's been the case for most years than not. So, and like I don't want to sit here and talk about get 3-star guys with 3-star guys with 5-star hearts. No, I want the 5-star guys with 5-star hearts. That'd be cool. And we're gonna get a 5-star guy on Wednesday, despite everything that happened on Saturday night. Because here's something y'all need to know. They lost. It was a hard. They didn't get their asses kicked, but they lost by 1 score. They fought. It wasn't like if they got beat 42-0, I would be concerned. They didn't lose 42-0. So, but guess what? The atmosphere at the game mattered. The crowd was very loud. That still matters.
I'll be honest, it was so-so. It was so-so. I was there, man. It was so-so.
I've heard from others who said said differently. So
depends on how close you were to the student section.
Okay. Anyway, the point of the matter is it was a positive experience for like the 40-something recruits that were there for 23, 24, and 25. So, and here's the other thing. Got high school football players, they lose games too. They get it.
What?
It happens. So now you don't want to lose like a bunch of games, obviously, but it happens. And everything's going to be fine. We're gonna get Hicks on Wednesday, and guess what? We're still probably getting Peyton Bowen at the end of the day. Ryan Yates is not going to happen because he's fickle as you know what. So he just wants to please everybody. So I don't expect Ryan Yates to do anything. But other than that,
Yates is going to go
stay at LSU.
Gotcha.
I think at this point, he just wants to make everyone. He's a people pleaser. He wants to say yes to everything. So
gotcha.
Those people exist. So yeah, we're on the precipice of adding 2 5-stars. All's right with the world. I hate to break. I know. I'm sorry. The program is not imploding. I know. Like people in my chat last night saying, "Fire Brent." I'm serious. Go fuck yourself. You're serious. You want to fire Brent after 4 games? Oh, my other favorite thing is like, the culture. The culture is not. Was like it's been 4 games, you morons. You know how long it takes?
Holdover.
Well, yeah, there's a little holdover, but it's like, you know how long it takes to rebuild a culture? Not that it didn't need that much rebuilding. The foundation's there, but my God, you would think we were like, Notre
Texas
Dame
A&M.
or Texas A&M or Notre Dame or God or Nebraska right now. The way some of these things, the culture. It's like, I don't know what these people are talking about. They're just grasping at straws. They're just mad to be mad. And again, you don't have to be I'm not saying to be happy we lost. I wasn't happy we lost either. But like the real stupid people come out, and most of them post on OU Insider as well.
Spoiler alert.
I think the dumbest OU fans all post on OU Insider because I see the stupidest shit there all the time. My favorite one was Gary Gibbs 2.0. Like, punch yourself in the balls, you useless fuck. Seriously, Gary Gibbs 2.0.
Wow.
I'm just listening on that one. Like, look, guys, headline Gary Gibbs 2.0. I'm not saying it. You put it in the fucking title of your thread, you dumb motherfucker.
Yeah.
Gibbs 2.0. Get the fuck out of here. Brent Venables got multiple national championships as a coordinator and is putting together like the best class OU has had in a decade. But you want to call him Gary Gibbs 2.0. Shut the fuck up.
And that's the thing. It's, to me, I'm going to use myself as the example.
I got my COVID booster and my flu shot on Friday, and I was out of it yesterday. I'm cranky, and I don't give a fuck right now. So,
but that's the best opportunity to have you on a live stream.
And I got like an allergy or redness on my face, so I'm dealing with that right now. So, got to get.
Don't forget too, you got a hurricane coming in as well.
Oh no, I'm probably gonna avoid that, thankfully. So I don't.
Good.
I mean, it's likely gonna hit like the upper corner of the Panhandle. It's not gonna hit me or anything. Like, I'll get some rain bands or whatever, but it'll be rainy. So I was like, oh great. Like, my worst fear is like, all right, David Hicks is gonna commit on Wednesday, and I'm gonna be in the middle of a fucking 120-mile-an-hour windstorm, hunkering down, and I'm just gonna be like trying to get on my phone. So this is my last video. I just want to say it's great. We got 5-star defensive end, and oh shit, there goes the dog. Awesome. Recruiting class is number 2 in the country. Oh shit, there's a tree. So
he's okay.
We found a phone somewhere in Kissimmee. Who's it belong to? It's got an OU logo as a wallpaper.
But here's my question. Again, the people melting down, they're stupid because stuff is fine. Yeah, you're going to lose games. You have a
right to be mad. You just don't have a right to say stupid shit.
Correct. Well, they are allowed to say.
I'm mad the defense played poorly last night. I agree with you. And we should fire the entire coaching staff. Wait, what?
Correct. It's, guys, reel it back. Like, for me, I throw my criticism at Dylan.
Dylan Gabriel's the worst quarterback ever. Have you seen the 90s?
Yeah. Like,
did you see our quarterbacks under Schnellenberger?
Here's my question for you, though. This one, I've kind of looked at offense, defense. What was Lebby's game plan last night? I guess that's where I'm first baffled at, because it seemed like his entire thing was chuck and pray. I didn't see any type of establishment.
We were running what are you talking about? We were running the football at will once we got into their territory. We got all these penalties and put ourselves behind schedule. Guess what? When you go up against a pretty decent defense and you get behind schedule and you're 1st and 20 as opposed to 2nd and 3, that's a problem.
Here's the next question.
We don't have the explosive Lincoln Riley offense, guys. I'm sorry.
Then why are we playing up tempo? If we know that, because I guess that's my big question is why are we putting these guys in positions almost to fail if they aren't set for that? Weiss and Mims, sure, but the offense is not built for that. Why are we?
No, the offense is built for that because when it clicks, it's humming. I've seen it. I've seen these games when we're clicking, it's humming. The penalties are what's killing the drives. So when you get behind schedule and you have to get checked because this offense at times when you can get 10-yard chunks like on a somewhat consistent basis. You're not getting 10-yard chunks every play. It's not realistic anymore. The problem is the penalties put you behind schedule. So when it's 3rd and 4, when it's 3rd and 10, and you're able to get a guy with a little dump off, and he gets 9 yards, and you're forced to go for it on 4th down, or you're forced to punt. If you didn't have the penalties, you'd still be on your drive. So, again, you eliminate these silly penalties, the offense is clicking and humming most of the game. The first quarter, it started off a little rough, but then they started getting going. Look at the final drive when they went down there to get within one score. It's like, what's infuriating to me is the way the game was going. If you stop the 3rd and 16 and you get the ball back, chances are we're going to overtime. Or if you have the nuts to go for 2 and win it. Like, that's how the game felt like it was going. If you stop a 3rd and 16, you had a shot with the football and you could have went down and scored.
Yeah, and they threw up on themselves.
So I don't want to hear, like, the offense, you can fix those issues. But like some of the guys, some of the interior play is like concerning because it's mostly Murray. Chris Murray's the problem.
So
I think you gotta put in Savion or somebody. You gotta figure out. You gotta put in someone in there who's not gonna mess up on those plays. I don't know if it's just you got to work harder in practice, whatever it is, but the penalties are going to kill this team this year. You can't do that next week. Can't do it against Texas. Definitely can't do it against Baylor, Oklahoma State. So, hell, you can't do it against Kansas. Can't do it against Kansas. So,
well, that's what I was going to say too. Is I don't think you could because who's behind him. But after the 3rd, I think he got like 4 or 5.
You can. I don't care who.
If you have Murray,
if you have a talented enough freshman, I'll play freshman at guard. It's tackles. It's tackle and center that I'm like not happy about doing that. But like guard, I'll play a freshman at guard if he's got a little experience and if he's ready to go. I'll put Sexton in there, one of those guys. Just like gotta put if it's something's got to change.
Well, I mean Murray was the problem, and I mean I'm not trying to throw him under the bus, but a lot of those drives died because Murray couldn't stop himself, and he's not learning.
Let me ask you this. Because I heard this, because you were there. Is our PA guy like starting to say boomer now?
Yes. Okay. Okay. So I'm letting you know I've already heard it across everything.
They've cut that. That's gone.
They're cutting that. Yeah. So
because
basically,
I heard Batower. It's just like that made me false start because it was random when he said it or whatever. It's like because they were already down in position. All of a sudden, PA guy's going boomer. Like what the fuck?
Yeah, they started that like last year. But it was like everybody knew.
No more.
I get the Lincoln Riley knew when it was going to go. Then they would do it. But yeah, I think I heard it was like 3 false starts, and I'm like, bro, you can't be screwing our team on that. Why isn't someone telling you to stop that? And that's the thing.
Listen, it's a shitty excuse, but
no, it's true though.
Whatever you can use to help your shaky offensive lines, like, dude, all you need to do is say 3rd down or 2nd down, and then you're good.
They're trying to get the crowd involved. The problem is that they're trying too hard. Like, guys, what you're doing is the reason why the crowd's not showing up, or they die by halftime for it because they're trying too hard.
Well, I heard they gave away some chicken at the end of the first quarter or something like that. So I heard people were.
It's the standard. It's the standard. Chick-fil-A kick. Oh, you go down there and it's the first commercial break. Let's see if he can make the field goal. Cool, but we're down 14-0, guys. Like, I could really care less if what's his face, a sergeant or whatever, gets free Chick-fil-A for a year. Do not care.
Well, like, are we talking military or a police officer?
I think it was a police officer.
Oh, okay.
He nailed it. He nailed it. It was awesome. But
what he kicked a field goal or something?
Yeah, it's like a 25-yard field goal, and if you make it, you get Chick-fil-A for a year. But usually you see it just barely go above the.
That's one of those things where
nailed it.
That's one of those things where a dude goes to a local high school and practices that. Like he's like, "This is my moment. I'm gonna kick that field goal, and I'm gonna get that Chick-fil-A."
Just like Hank Hill with the in that one episode, just keeps on practicing with the giant tub. Yeah, the canister or whatever. But yeah. Well, and it's just the same thing. Well, why don't the fans like the smile cam? Because we're losing. There's nothing to smile about.
Chickens. No one's wanting to smile right now. We're down 14-0.
Yeah, like guys, I worked for Sooner Vision. Like I'm just saying, I get it. I get some of it's sponsored. You just can't get rid of it, and you can't just rearrange it. But at the same time, like it's common sense. People aren't going to smile. Just like with all due respect to the K-State fans that were there last night, they got really pissy on some of them that they didn't show them on the big screen. I'm like, they're not going to show you guys on the big screen, guys.
We need to get John L. Smith from his days at Arkansas, where he was like, "Smile, smile." Let's get him on the screen. John L. Smith telling.
They're just trying too hard on it. And it's like, I get it. You want the crowd to stay. But at the same time, like, you're trying too hard. Just let it flow naturally with it. But it is what it is. But yeah, he kept doing it. And it's just, you can't do that. You can't throw our guys off like that.
So I know Kanik didn't really play. I heard he had like flu-like symptoms or something. So that's like the rumor going around. Because like, where the hell is Kanik?
Robert Spears Jennings didn't play either.
Who's what?
Robert Spears Jennings didn't play either. He was.
Yeah, but like Kanik was like. You mean R. Mason Thomas?
R. Mason Thomas. I'm sorry. R. Mason Thomas.
No, but like Kanik has actually made plays on this team the past few weeks. So I figured maybe if he gets out there and makes a play. No, he's a true freshman, but at some point, because I think there's got to be a change at linebacker.
Yeah. I don't disagree, but you can't.
Iguebu is sorry.
And the ironic part is Justin Broyles wasn't the problem last night. That's the sad part.
Yeah,
like, as much shit as we give him.
But you know what? Like, and even though it's going to be like next year, but I've always looked at this year regardless. It's always it's a mini rebuild. It's not a complete. People thought it like a lot of people say it's a complete rebuild. It's not a complete rebuild. It's a mini rebuild. There's a couple pieces there that I like, but another thing where people ripping. One guy was ripping for it. It's like, oh, just like last year, like can't like live up to the expectations of a complete team. And I'm like, what complete team? Who the hell said we had a complete team? Like I'm seeing really stupid comments. It's like, bro. I walked in this year knowing the offensive line is a question mark. The defensive backfield is a question mark. Quarterback, we got to see how. There was nothing complete about this football team. Not for a damn second. Doesn't mean they can't live up to any type of hype or expectations and make some plays and win some games. But my complete team, y'all acting like it's like the 2003 or 2004 or 2008 roster. So, we can go start winning a championship. It's like, no. Complete team. It's like just like I don't know where these people got it in their heads. And look, again, a lot of sunshine pumping, a lot of happiness, and there are people, and it's like people got mad at me when I said we're going to lose 2 games this year. We're not going to lose a home game, bitch. Please, don't say we can't lose a home game.
We hope.
I don't root for losing for home games, but it's like when you ask me, when I look on the schedule this year and said, who am I going to pick that's OU's going to lose to? Like the road games don't scare me that much. They really don't. Now Texas Tech, we might have to keep an eye on because.
Well, didn't you hear their coach? All the stuff goes through Lubbock.
I mean, he's not wrong. We got to go through Lubbock before we potentially maybe get to Arlington. So he is technically right about that. So I'll give him credit where it's due. Like
if we want, but he's right.
if we're going to be in position, like we're in a position where if we get to that point, we kind of have to win that game because we have a conference loss right now, and we might get another one. But if we can be second place or whatever, but it's
well, it's just what you said. We all gotta take a bite out of the big shit sandwich. Hope you take a big bite.
You just have to hope that this was just a shitty game for the defense. Right? I mean, there were reports that they had a shitty practice this past week. They weren't.
See, you know what's funny, and I connected this, and I said this earlier today. I feel like we've figured out the coach speak when they ask the crowd to be out there and be loud. It's always translated to the defense just does not show up, which means, crap, they had a really crappy practice week. We got to be there to help them out in any way possible.
I don't know. Was that true when Bob called us out in 2008?
Bob never really did. Bob called us out.
He did in 2008 for Texas Tech. He called out the crowd.
Texas Tech, but for every other time,
it's a matchup on national TV, so he called us out.
But every other time since then, it's like,
probably Riley called us out once or twice, I think,
and he lost both of them too.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah.
So,
but but yeah, like I don't know what else there's much to say about the game other than it sucks we lost. It wasn't a blowout. Hey, but K-State got ranked because Kansas didn't get ranked, but K-State is. So I mean, they did beat a top 10 team, if you believe this is a top 10 team. So a lot of teams almost lost yesterday that probably should have lost, and We just happen to be the ones that got bit in the top 10. Yay us. Like the teams that team that looks good right now, like without looking like
Georgia.
garbage. No, it's Ohio State right now. Georgia.
They struggled against Kent State a little bit,
and that was a little concerning because I think they got a little exposed, just a tad.
Really?
Well, I watched that game because I have ESPN Plus, and I decided to watch that game. They were very lackadaisical. Like their wide receivers were dropping passes. Stetson Bennett could not connect with anyone deep. Like you could see that, like Georgia. You looked at Georgia, like Georgia should be winning this game big, and they're not. Now, Kent State made some plays. They made like some long, like give up big yardage type plays. And it's like, oh shit. And for like for a few hours as a joke, it's like, OU defense better than Georgia defense. Ha ha ha. So many people took that seriously. Dude, don't say that. It's like, it's Twitter, bro. Like some of y'all have some fun.
I'm really,
and of course later the night happened. So people's like, aha, you wish you hadn't said this. It's Twitter, you dumb fuck. It's Twitter.
See, Sean, tonight is worth it because you're able to call out the dum-dums because it is group therapy for everybody.
I'm too old for this shit. I mean, I'm getting too old for this shit. Like, I don't like people's like, I'm not letting it ruin my weekend anymore. Just not.
That's what my buddy Tyler
if I was 26 and still in the army, and it's like I knew I had to go to work the next day with a bunch of other asshole alpha males whose college teams all won or whatever, and I had to eat a shit sandwich for at least 2-3 days. Yeah, it would ruin my weekend. I'm almost 40. Don't care as much anymore. It's not that I don't care about her. I don't want my team to win. I do a YouTube channel year round about OU football and OU sports, but at the same time, I'm not gonna let it ruin my weekend. I watched some NFL today. Chilled out. I'm about to cancel my podcast because I don't want to do it anymore.
Well, that's what I told my buddy Tyler he was like, how are you taking this? This is his first game he's ever gone to that we had a loss at home. And he's like, how are you so chill about this? I'm like, bro, first off, when you have your first loss, after that, you kind of just, it happens. It is. But
again, it goes back to what I said before. It's like, this is a mini rebuild for me. Like there are people like the fan that goes into it every year thinking their team can win the national title is the one who's always going to be the most depressed. Like last year sucked and it was stressful because I'm like, this team should be a title contender, but they're not, and they're winning. And so I was conflicted. Well, they keep winning, but they should be winning better. What's going on? And we found out what was going on. This year, it's like, I don't expect to win a title. That's okay.
Well, and we talked about it last week where we said, all right, kicking Nebraska's ass was fantastic, but is this fool's gold?
I went into that game last week. Yeah, but even I went to that game going, I just want to get up there and get a win and go home. Because it didn't like, I'm sorry, but like that game didn't mean anything to me. It really didn't. It's like Nebraska.
Meant a lot to a lot of people.
I'm sure it did, but like Nebraska's a garbage program now. And they played like a garbage program. They got beat like a garbage program. They're irrelevant. I'm sorry, the truth hurts. The reason it hurts that OU lost like because we're relevant. It matters. Nebraska losing right now, it doesn't really matter as much anymore.
And it hurt because we could have beaten them last night if we didn't have death by 1,000 cuts.
So that's
why it hurts.
That's why it hurts some people, because it's like, oh, if only we had done this, that. And people are going to say, oh, it's the same old defense, same old this. Like, guys, Brent's defense takes a little bit to learn. He runs multiple D. There's a lot of responsibility on the linebackers. I'm a little shocked it took this long for them to look this kind of
bad.
Yeah. But then again,
you look at say it. They looked bad.
They looked bad. Yeah. Because I remember seeing games like this when Brent was D coordinator, like before he left. There were moments like this where there was confusion and guys weren't learning his system very well. But again,
that's why he was ran out the first time.
Well, it's not that he was ran out. It's just that it was a combination. Listen, Bob was in charge, so Bob gets all the credit and all the criticism. Like I remember sitting in the crowd in 2000. When was it? What year was it that I was there? I went to a game in 6. I want to say. I went to a Texas Tech game it was a Texas Tech. It wasn't that game. It was the 06 game. I think it was like a home finale or anything. I just remember I know how people were mad at him then. It's like just in the crowd. It's like third down. There's like this big old bald dude, like a couple rows over, like, let's go Venables. That was 06. So, but yeah, it was 06. I think it was. Yeah, that makes sense. 06. So
I had one I forgot to mention to you.
Yeah, people were hating on him back then. So those feelings are those feelings are magically gonna start popping up again for some folks.
We had in my section, we had a couple guys who are referees really upset at the refs because they're saying, why aren't the refs calling on Kansas State's right tackle and right guard holding? I'm like, what holding are you seeing? He's like, watch Deuce Vaughn. Every time he goes right, they're doing a hook under and holding right here. He's like, they're not calling it, and they should be. He's like, that's why Adrian also Martinez is running all over the place. They're like,
I'm not blaming the refs. I'm not blaming the refs.
No, it is what it is on it at this point. Like, refs were awful, but
not blaming the referees.
It is what it is.
Like if you want to point out one or two calls that were like refs miss calls all the time, it's part of the game. I'm not going to be the blame the refs guy. You got your ass kicked at times last night on defense.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, you go.
That's true.
They went up 14-0. Like, it is what it is. So
like you can blame the refs every week for every game. Even when you win, you can blame the refs.
Oh, absolutely. That's part of the game and stuff too. There's only so many times with it. It's outside of very egregious stuff. Like, yeah.
I can point to the Rose Bowl where there was like an egregious call miss. It didn't cost us the game in my mind. It was like, we took our foot off the pedal offensively, but we're not going to go back and talk about that game for 15 minutes because it'll just make me want to cry some more. But anyway,
well, Alan, one thing Alan pointed out, and I said it. Oh, he's getting out for targeting. Was one of our guys hitting nulls. Alan pointed it out last night that he should have been ejected. I'm like, yeah, he probably should have. I was going, why did they not throw that flag? Like, that was kind of textbook targeting, but who knows what targeting is at this point?
No, they were letting guys play last night for real. So
yeah,
it was physical. But anyway,
that's
all you wrote. But you went to the statue ceremony, didn't you?
Yeah, I went to the full ceremony. Yep.
Yeah, I saw there was like a full Eddie Radosevich put it on the Scoop YouTube page, and I watched a little bit. I watched the Switzer.
Switzer was hysterical. God
bless Switzer for bringing up like the art museum or the art school with like one of their with the gargoyle titty statue and everything. And only he could get away with that.
Oh man, the crowd was
Joe Harris or Joe Castiglione couldn't say that, but Barry could easily get away with that because he's old and he's like funny. You're allowed to say shit like that, and we're just like, it was like, I got these weird like statues with tits, these like gargoyle tit statues.
Yeah, I turned to Tyler. I was like, did he just really say that? He's like, the king just really said that.
Yeah. What are you gonna do? Fire him or send him home?
Tyler said too. What are you gonna do? Fire him off campus? Okay.
Right, time to go home, Barry. Like he's starting to show his age. He's showing his age a little bit. He's not quite there yet. He's getting there a little bit, but he's still got a little more in the tank.
He is now. To be fair, I've seen him in the 10 years because of me being a student. All that. He is showing his age. I can say that for sure.
Yeah, he's in his 80s. So
yeah, like poor Barry.
Cherish every moment you got Barry Switzer. Cherish every moment you got left with him because the day is going to come and we're going to have a but I was like the pictures of the statue obviously like because they had to put him down in broad daylight. They didn't wait until they didn't do this at 3:00 in the morning when no one was up. They did it in broad daylight where everyone could see. So the statue's leaked on Twitter. And like from the pictures from a distance, they look good. And when you actually saw them, I was like, oh my God, they got them right. They look perfect.
Yeah, they're great.
I was like, oh, thank God. Because if they had screwed up 3 black men face wise for whatever reason, it would have been like a nightmare. Oh God, it would have been terrible. But no, they got it. They're beautiful. They're beautiful statues, and they look awesome, and they're life size.
So what you're telling me is the next time we're in Norman, after seeing the Baker statue, you're definitely want to see those 3.
the Baker statue, or I'll just like I'll dress up as Robert Patrick.
It's not as bad as what people think it is.
It does look bad though at times.
It doesn't.
From certain angles, it does.
Yeah, from certain angles, it does.
And that's why it's like you had one job.
But I always hear the rumor
they square his face too much. It's he like Baker's a baby round face, man. He's a round baby. He's got a roundish baby face. They made him too like superhero square jaw. That's not his face structure. You got to round that shit out, dude. He's got a baby face.
One day, I'm going to figure out what the real reason is why they can't show the face, why they can't. There has to be a reason, and I don't know what that reason is at this point, because what I've been told is not the right reason. So, but yeah, the statues are fantastic. We stayed the entire one. We were expecting it to be like a 15-minute dedication.
Oh, it was like an hour plus.
Oh, it was like an hour and 15 minutes because everyone was like, they had apparently 5 minutes each and they took 25 minutes each.
Well, you're not going to tell you're not going to tell Leroy Jr., hey kid, I know you're talking about your dad and getting emotional, but you need to wrap it up. No.
Chop shop boy. Yeah,
Dewey and Lucius get all the time they want to because
it's their statue, right?
Their statues.
You know who I was surprised that they didn't bring up was Mama Selmon. I'm really surprised they didn't bring her up to talk.
I
figure she would.
Probably not. She's still with us.
Yeah, I think so. If not, that would make sense. But I'm pretty sure she is.
You sure?
I want to say yes. See, now you're making me type it up. I want to say yes.
She's got to be up there.
Yeah, she'd be elderly, very elderly.
Yeah, but like you're not gonna poor woman go up there. She ain't gonna speak.
Well, everyone always like is really, really big on it.
She alive and well and everything? You sure?
Maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe no. Maybe not.
I was about to say, you know how old the Selmons are?
They're old, and I saw she apparently passed away in 2000, but they didn't mention that. So
it's like, why is it the famous Mrs. Selmon up there? She's been dead for 22 years.
I did not realize that.
I was about to say, wait, what? Because that was my reaction. I was like, well, wait, what? It's like, wait, the Mrs. Like, I don't think she's around anymore. Like, that was like, what? Because that was my first thought. I was like, don't think she's alive.
See, and no one ever mentions it, and that's even the first for me. I was like, I figured she'd be up there.
Well, you kind of do math. I mean,
nobody even brought her up like if she was here.
Well, unless it was like a Simpsons Mr. Burns situation where his mother is like 130 and still alive, and he hates it when he gets a call from his mother. Burns' mother? She must be 160.
Yeah. But
he's never forgiven her since she had that affair with President Taft. You need to watch old school Simpsons. You need to watch old school Simpsons
before it went downhill. The old school.
But no, seasons 1 through 9 or whatever is fine.
Yeah, I will. Like I said, the statue was great. Joe went up there. President Harris went up there. The brothers and Leroy Selmon Jr. Barry talked, and they had the unveiling. It was cool. I was glad we got to do it. I'm glad we were able to get like a good. We were about 5 rows behind. The only thing is it started to get a little humid. We're like, all right, it's getting a little humid, guys, for everyone standing around. So but it was great.
Well, we don't have a home. We don't have a home game till the Jayhawks walk in with their potentially undefeated record. So.
That's a weird thing to say, but it's not at the same time.
I don't know. They go to Iowa State next week. I think they can. I think they can win. I think they can beat
Iowa State's not good though.
That's my point.
Yeah, like they're not good.
We're still talking about Kansas.
Do you think Kansas could beat us though? Putting mistakes aside.
Well, if you don't look at,
and I want you to be honest.
If you don't watch film and try to add a little quarterback contain into your goddamn defense, then yeah. I think we could score at will on them. Let's not get crazy because I don't think Kansas defense is whatever, but offensively, yeah, they got a QB. So
Do you think Leopold's going to go to Nebraska, or do you think it's
no one should go to
Dave?
Nebraska. No one should go to Nebraska.
Well, someone's going to go there to coach.
It's a death trap. Don't go to Nebraska. Let's go to Nebraska.
Go nice.
It's like becoming. I'm going to be the general man. I'm going to be a general manager of Blockbuster. Let's do it. They were popular in the 90s too. That's
fair. That's such a deep cut, man.
Yeah, you want to be Randy Marsh and like, everyone, look. Took over the South Park Blockbuster.
Man, that's such a deep cut, but it's true. That's true. Oh my goodness. Okay. We still have TCU next week. Are you worried about TCU? Because I am.
I don't worry about.
I am. I'm legitimately worried.
I'm not worried. We'll go out there and play. We'll go down there and play, and I think they'll win. Well, you think I think this team's going to crumble? No.
Do you think they're going to make the same mistakes though?
I mean, some guys might, because like you're going to be in some positions where you have no choice but to play certain people. But I think there's going to be an emphasis this week, and it's like what Mike Hawk said. OU has lost their opening conference game like 4 times in the past X amount of years, and each of those times they went on to win the Big 12. So, So if you don't learn from your mistakes, it's like, oh yeah, Duggan can run. Guess what? He's probably going to try to do that. So if you don't like, hey, I have a feel if Kanik is back, get him some more snaps, let him cause some havoc. We need to force some turnovers. And that's the thing. No turnovers the other night either. It's not like we haven't turned the ball over on a meaningful snap all year. We have had 1 turnover in garbage time against Nebraska. That's it. So it's not like we're turning the ball over, or it's like sloppiness and penalties. So clean those up.
And kudos to Dylan on that, because he hasn't, knock on wood, he hasn't thrown an interception. Like that is something he is.
It's a noon kickoff. Excuse me. It's a noon kickoff, and those are the games you can go in there. Everyone's kind of just chilling, walk in there, get a win. I'm actually at this point the way I do things. I'm actually a fan of noon kickoffs because I get my game done early. Maximize my view count, and get to watch the rest of college football the rest of the day and chill.
But you're also not attending the games and stuff, so the people who have to work the games, they hate 11 a.m. But it is what it is.
But I'm cranky and old. I'm getting older and crankier, so screw those people. It's about what I want.
You're telling me it's not
what I want.
But you're telling me that you don't want a 7 p.m. a night game?
I do when I have like 30 or 40 recruits coming to visit, sure.
Yeah.
And most of them had a good time, from what I understand. So that's the important part.
That is. Did I was trying to think on it. Yeah. I didn't get home till like midnight last night. Game was over about 10:30ish, I think it was, and we were in traffic.
Some would argue the game was over in the first quarter.
Oh, we got jokes. Yeah. But yeah, that's the only thing about
such a dad joke. I'm so proud of myself. By the way, fuck all of you little pussies and little bitches who always like declare games are over like halfway through a first quarter.
Hey, I stayed. I am a glutton for punishment because I've learned you stay until it says 0 o'clock.
I hate football. I hate college football fans who just like declare a game is over like after 1 or 2 plays. Just all of you who do that are just such whiny little bitches and are pathetic.
Tell me how you really feel.
No, I'm in a not give a fuck mood right now because again, I'm cranky. I was under the weather briefly yesterday. I had a headache all day because of my COVID booster. Then I got assholes on the internet saying, why unnecessary pokes? And I quote, what does Oklahoma State have to do with this? And then I move on, just trying to get through the game, like dealing with a headache, dealing with idiots in my chat, dealing with trolls. and then picking and choosing who I block, because you can troll my channel if you want to, but like don't spam my chat, or else I'm just okay. You're just gonna spam it, then goodbye.
Yeah.
Other than that, it's just no. I'm in not give a fuck mood. So,
but that's how you we get your best opinions on everything.
no, it's just like they're overreactionary people who want to go on message boards and declare stupid shit. And, it's just I don't know. It's just I don't know what, like, I've never been that guy who overreacts. And he's like, people, you're a sunshine pumper. It's like, am I? I picked us to lose 2 games this year, so I don't know how much of a sunshine. I guess my idea of a sunshine pumper is like, considering what we were trying to do after last season, trying to keep things together. That getting together whenever. I feel almost better about my pick now preseason because everything's going according to plan.
You're just looking like
shouldn't have changed my pick. See, here's the problem. I wanted to be a good Sooner fan, and I wanted to be a hype man. It's like, you know what, the Selmon statues are getting unveiled. It's like, I can't pick. I wanted to be, and then people turned on me for that,
which was dumb.
And it's just like, you can't please it. It's like I've learned you can't please everybody. You just got to be you. So it's like, what I've learned is that people don't mind if you say the record you think they're going to have. They get really mad when you point out the teams you lose to. That's why they get mad.
Yeah. Well,
if you say we're going 11-1, like, yeah, because it means you probably win the Big 12. And, it's like, well, you don't say what the one, but if you say, yeah, I think we'll go like 10-2 and get in the Big 12 championship game. We'll see what happens. Yeah, I think we'll lose to K-State and Baylor, and then we'll get a rematch with it. It's like, we're not losing home games. Well, there's one. There's one, bitch.
Yeah.
There's one.
Yeah.
So
I bet nothing's more miserable than when we lost. It was a couple years ago, like 4 at home. There is nothing more miserable, but then you get used to it. It's like, the home's not invincible. It sucks.
You're talking about 14, the miserable year that was 14. It was a K-State.
No, it was a little later. It was a little later than that.
No, it was 14. 14.
Was it 14?
Yeah, because it was K-State, the missed extra point, Baylor whooped our ass, Oklahoma State, and we lost another game. It was at least 3.
I thought it was like 17.
17? We were in the playoff. We were in the Rose Bowl, bro. We didn't lose multiple home games. Dude, 14 was the dismal year before we hired you-know-who to take over our offense, and we had Heisman winners at quarterback.
You're right. You're right. Because
we didn't have any miserable seasons from like 15 to like
you're right.
20,
because I was thinking of that being the Clemson season for whatever reason with the Russell Athletic Bowl.
That was 14.
So, that was 14. You're right.
I went to that Russell Athletic Bowl, which is now the Cheez-It Bowl.
And that was a miserable experience too.
Hey, if OU really does collapse, I can go check them out this year. So in Orlando.
Yeah. Oh,
see
boy.
See who opts out, doesn't play, declares early for the draft that they shouldn't declare early for. Things like that.
Yeah. Or I've heard this a lot, by the way, from this game, and I wanted your thoughts on it as well. Where everyone said, well, at least the silver lining is like Eric Gray played well, or such and such did this. Does that bug you?
No, Eric Gray
no. I'm talking as the big picture.
He's running football well.
No, I'm talking the giant picture though, where it's like, do you have a problem with people doing that? Where it's like,
no,
suck.
I don't have a problem with you accentuating the positives. Like, this is working well. This is working well. If we could just look, OU is not awful. Believe it or not. They had one awful game on defense where everyone shit the bed. Do I think everyone's going to shit the bed next week? No. Will a handful of those guys shit the bed carry over? Probably, because guess what? We've seen guys like Ogwebu have bad games. We've seen guys on the offensive line have bad games. But no, I think this is just they got caught up in. I think they caught up into their own hype a little bit because, like, we have certain people declaring them to be the second best team they've seen all year, and I'm like, God, trouble. I knew we were in trouble when I saw it, when I read that shit.
Mhm.
Oh, I got it's like, yep. That this is why I shit on like National Sunshine Peppers. Like, no, people say, why are you upset? It's like, no, you don't. Do not do it. I believe in rat poison. I think it's real.
I mean, we talked about it last week. You were the one who even said, let's take it back a bit. Yes, we beat Nebraska, but K-State, they may have lost to Tulane, but that's still just one game.
Yes,
I
knew when they lost to Tulane, I was like, oh my God, the prophecy is coming true once again. They lost to a shitty team the week before, and they're going to come in here and just play all world because that's what they do. That's just what they do. Oh, K-State struggled or lost, or it's like
they got their superpowers. They went again. Super Saiyan.
Happened again. So.
They had their Super Saiyan moment. That's what happens. They got the shit beat out of them the week before. They stayed as your joke would be. They went to the healing tube and then came out better than ever.
I mean, sure, why not? But yeah, so they'll play TCU this week. I think they'll win. I think they'll be fine.
Well, to Kansas State's credit, too, a lot of people discount their coach. Their coach is good, guys. There's a reason why he had it done.
Ryman scares the fuck out of me, dude. Him and Aranda. And here's the thing that's going to happen next week. We're on at noon. K-State and Tech play next week on ESPN Plus. You know what's going to fucking happen? Texas Tech's going to get like a couple of stops in a row, and people are going to lose their shit again during the game. Oh, look at the score! The Texas Tech K-State game. They won't even be watching it because it's going to be on ESPN Plus, and half the fan base hasn't figured out how to use the internet yet. So you got that going for it. So you're going to see them look at box scores. It's like, oh, look at the score. They got it's like we're worse than this. Like we're worse than Kansas. I'm like, oh my God, shut up. Everyone has shitty games except usually the national champion. And we're not going to be the national champion this year.
For you, is these the type of games that like it's your struggle because the meltdown that comes with it?
Well, no, it's like I love college football and I love the passion of college football fans, but it's a double-edged sword because their passion like it unveils their utter stupidity at times. And I'm not saying I'm better than anybody, but by God, just like some of you people act like you've never watched the sport before. Ever.
Yeah.
It's like, guess what? Teams will have like you're dealing with 18 to 22-year-olds and they fuck up sometimes. And sometimes as a collective they do it. And then they get their asses kicked in practice the next week. And sometimes they respond by playing well the next week, or it completely utterly collapses or whatever. I don't think it's gonna be the latter. I also don't think we're gonna go on this like magical run. See, we're a spoiled fan base once again because we're so used to we got so spoiled on like that from like conference play from 2016 all the way up through 2018. Chef's kiss on the offense.
Yeah.
Like conference play 2016 up through the end of 2018. My God, the offense is fantastic because we had 2 first-round number 1 picks at quarterback.
Yeah.
Not to mention an offensive line that were award winners, and we could just do whatever we wanted. Then that started to deteriorate a little bit when we didn't have the first round quarterbacks anymore. And it started to go down a little bit. Then it popped back up a little bit here, but like now it's like now we have a solid college offense. We're not Iowa bad. You would think we were Iowa. Iowa's scoring touchdowns now. I don't know if you've heard, but so life is
what you're telling me that what I was told with Iowa and Rutgers being a train wreck didn't happen. See, now I'm disappointed.
No, but Iowa scores touchdowns now. But no, like from conference play 2016 all the way through 2018, boom, boom, boom. It's like some of the greatest offenses ever. Didn't win a championship, unfortunately, because we didn't have the defense to match it. But we could do almost anything we wanted offensively. It was nuts.
Mm-hmm.
But now it's like, I'm sorry. Offense last night, despite all of its struggles in certain areas, scored enough points to win the game. Got to make a stop. So we're kind of retreading the same thing over and over again at this point. But
and I think the offense and the defense are both at fault equally, but it's different.
No, it's not equally. I don't think it's equally at all.
Really?
Defense, no, because the offense still scored 31 points. That's enough to win a football game. That's more than enough. You should have gotten a couple stops.
Yeah.
No. I'm saying it. The offense did enough to win the football game.
I don't disagree with
you.
But
You can't give up 40 plus at home. Offense didn't turn the ball over. Offense didn't fumble the ball. They didn't throw picks. They scored 31 points. That was enough to win a football game. You can't give up 41 at home. Sorry. It's just more on the defense.
I see your point on that.
You give up 40 plus at home, you deserve to lose.
That's fair.
You score 34.
I see your point on that. I look at it as a collective thing, but I see your point on that.
It's not equal at all. It's like the defense is way more culpable.
Here's a question.
Did the defense force one turnover?
No.
Got some tackles for loss. Got a sack or two. Forced a couple punts. No. What the defense did last night is equivalent if the offense scored like 13 points last night. That's what it did. Offense scored 34 points.
That's fair. I mean, I guess in retrospect with it too, it's what I said and asked you. Were we good enough to beat K-State last night? We both said yes. So, yeah, I see your point on that. It's less of its offense's problems came down to individual stuff.
You can clean up the penalties. You can clean up the false starts. You can fix those. That's not a situation where it's like, the offensive line can't get any push or they can't open up holes for the running game. That's not the issue here. It's just it's a discipline issue.
What do you think of the O-line last night? It was what it was.
It was okay. Again, it's like the penalties was what killed it more than anything. There's a couple holding calls here and there, obviously, but it was like pre-snap penalties. It was all pre-snap. It was mostly pre-snap penalties. So that's what killed it. So the defense.
Here's the question. I did want to circle back to this because on defense, is there any guys that you would bench right now?
We already talked about that. We already talked about it. I said Aguayo.
Outside of Aguayo, or would you rotate guys around?
I mean, if I could get Justin Royals off the field, I would. Because at some point, you got to put your best guys out there for however long. I know Broyles might be a leader. He's a team captain. I know they rotate the captains every week for whatever. But at some point,
should be a captain next week.
Well, whatever. At some point, Trey Morrison was out there making a play or two last night, so. It's like, hey, he's got it. But, Guebu, something's got to change there. Just Royals. Woody Washington didn't play physical at all last night. So, again, it's a collective. The entire defense has played like ass. So, I've said it 4 or 5 times now. I don't know what much more I could say. That hasn't already been said.
Yeah.
We're beating a dead horse at this point.
Oh, yeah. And I had some questions with it, but at some point, they lost. This is what happened. This is the story. They collectively, you got 8. That was the other question. Dad asked me this, and I'm like, I don't really know. Do you think they've hit a plateau?
No,
because Dad thinks that they were very, very flat,
it's September.
That's what he's worried about.
No, my point is it's September. I don't think they've hit a plateau. That is until they play Baylor. That's one of the better defenses they'll have played all year in conference. Because I knew K-State defensively was going to be a problem at certain times, and they were. But no, defensively, you can fix some of those things by hey, put in a little more effort, guys. They had a shitty week of practice, and it showed in that game day. Now they can say, "Hey, you had a shitty week of practice. You had a shitty performance on Saturday." They go hand in hand. So, and whatever the people are talking about, expectations or whatever, Brent has said from day one and throughout, they're still building. They're still rebuilding. It is a process. He's said constantly. People think coach speak is this. I don't think he's lying when he says we still got a long ways to go. Still got to do this. Still got to do that. But he even said in the post-game press conference, I've seen things like tonight, like that I haven't seen all year. It was very out of character for the team. So I like to think this is an aberration. And and so I know it's like cliche and people don't want to hear this, but yes, wake up calls are real for this OU football team, regardless of who the coach is. So it's become a tradition we lose to K-State for whatever reason. It's also a tradition that we get our shit together and make a run to the conference title. So we'll see if that continues.
Is there on the schedule right now, based on how this team has played, that you're worried if they don't clean some stuff up, it could potentially bite us in the ass? Not just
you could lose to anybody if you don't clean this shit up. You can lose to anyone on this schedule. There ain't one team that they couldn't beat them if they play that bad again. That's anybody. Like anyone plays that. Look at college football yesterday. Like Clemson's defense was terrible. USC barely escaped with their lives in Corvallis. Michigan is going to celebrate a big win against Maryland that they probably should have lost if they're not gift wrapped a touchdown at the beginning of the game. You got Arkansas and A&M had silly stuff going on. Lots of stuff yesterday, man. Texas got beat in the second half because they got broke. Their number one player cost them the game because he fumbled the ball. Tech took advantage and they won the game.
Bijan, because I didn't get to watch that game. So
Bijan fumbled the ball and Tech took it over and they went down there and won the football game. Boom, the end. So a lot of teams had some shit happen yesterday. Ours, we took the biggest tumble because we were the one team in the top 10 that mattered. I know Arkansas lost, but in the most heartbreaking, hilarious way too. But again,
it's Arkansas.
we're number 18 according to the AP, and then we'll just be quietly trying to climb our way back up there. And believe it or not, there will be some teams on our schedule as of right now that will give us a chance to boost our quote unquote resume for whatever it is you're trying to get, whether it's a decent bowl game or just the only thing I care about right now, honestly, can we get in the Big 12 championship game? We can still do that, but the Big 12 is wide open, I guess. To me, it looks like it's the same 2 or 3 teams every year, regardless. It's going to be OU, OSU, and Baylor. I mean, Kansas is going to be a cute story for a while, but I think there's only so much Kansas is going to be able to do. So,
what about Kansas State?
Again, same thing. Listen, here's another thing that's going to piss people off. Kansas State will probably go 8-4. Yeah, and people get mad. It's why? That's what they always do. I don't think this is some great K-State team. They have some good players, but I don't think Adrian Martinez is going to be able to do that to you think Adrian Martinez is just going to be able to run QB power every Big 12 team this year? Fuck no.
Yeah.
And it's going to piss everyone off because oh, why did you do that to us? It's
because we made mistakes.
Because we do it over and over. Because I actually went and watched that Tulane game, and he wasn't doing that shit versus Tulane.
Yeah, because they played vanilla.
Well, yeah, but it wasn't in the game plan.
Yeah.
Seriously, who woke up one morning and said, what we need to do? Adrian Martinez needs to be dual threat. He needs to take the ball and just go. That was new. And
they had nothing to stop him.
No, and they couldn't adjust. And that's what was irritating. And there's bad communication. And again, it's going to take a little bit of time. But I've said it 8 times now, and I'd like to end this stream if that's possible. Because I'm tired and I want to chill.
That's fine. If you want to end early, we can do that. So,
I usually go an hour or whatever, don't we?
Yeah, we go for usually an hour and 30 minutes, and we have about 15 minutes left for that. But if you want to end early, yeah. I think we've exhausted mostly.
I have nothing else I want to talk about because I've repeated the same shit over and over again at this point.
I blame your chat for that.
No,
I blame your watch along for that.
No, I just want to chill and watch the end of this. Well, baseball's delayed. I'll watch the football game, I guess. That's gonna be
the Lions game.
No.
Hey, I'm happy. You know why? Because at the end of the day, Sean, I was gonna go down to an old high school game on Friday night, but I'm just man, if I'm pulling the K-State game, I just can't do that. So they won, and then I'm very happy to say my Splatoon team won. I'm very happy about that. Go Team Gear. I'm happy. So 2 out of 3. I can take 2 out of 3. So Judge me all you want. So, guys, I want to thank everybody for joining us tonight. Thanks, y'all, for joining with Group Therapy. Be sure to comment, rate, subscribe, like, and hit the notification bell so you know when we go live and when I upload a new video. So I hope everyone has vented and exercised their demons from this at this point. You move on. You move on. You lost one. It sucks. Can't dwell on it. You got to focus on TCU. Sean, thank you for joining me, buddy. We'll see everybody here next week. Boomer Sooner. Only one.
Mm-hmm.